Hey everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're embarking on an epic journey through time, exploring the complete history of one of the world's oldest and most influential civilizations, China. From ancient dynasties to the modern era, this is a story of emperors, inventors, philosophers, and revolutions. So grab your tea, get comfortable, and let's dive into the incredible tapestry of Chinese history. Our story begins in the fertile basin of the Yellow River, often called the cradle of Chinese civilization. Early settlements here gave rise to legendary figures and the semi-mythical Xia dynasty. But verifiable history really kicks off with the Shang dynasty, around 1600 BC. The Shang were masters of bronze casting, and they left behind oracle bones, turtle shells, and animal bones inscribed with the earliest known Chinese characters. These weren't just for divination. They were the foundation of a writing system that has endured for over 3,000 years. Following the Shang came the Zhou dynasty, China's longest reigning dynasty. The Zhou introduced the concept of the mandate of heaven, the idea that a ruler's right to rule was granted by the gods, but could be lost if they became unjust. This concept would shape Chinese politics for millennia. This era, though politically fragmented during its later Spring and Autumn and Warring States periods, was a golden age of philosophy. It gave us Confucianism, with its focus on ethics, family, and social harmony. Taoism, emphasizing balance and living in harmony with the natural way, the Tao, and legalism, which advocated for strict laws and state control. These schools of thought became the bedrock of Chinese culture. The chaos of the Warring States period ended in 221 BC with a unifier, Qin Shi Huang. He declared himself the first emperor of the Qin dynasty and created the first unified Chinese empire. He was a ruthless but incredibly effective ruler. He standardized everything: weights, measures, currency, and even the width of cart axles to create a unified road system. Most famously, he standardized the writing system, allowing people from different regions to communicate. He also connected existing walls to create the first version of the Great Wall and commissioned the magnificent terracotta army to guard him in the afterlife. His dynasty was short-lived, but his legacy of a centralized, imperial state was permanent. After the harsh rule of the Qin, the Han dynasty emerged, lasting for over 400 years. This period is considered a classical age in Chinese history, so significant that the majority ethnic group in China still calls themselves the Han people. The Han dynasty formally established Confucianism as the state ideology, creating a system of governance based on merit, tested through civil service exams. It was an age of great prosperity and technological innovation. They invented paper, the seismoscope to detect earthquakes, and perfected the compass. The famous Silk Road also flourished during this time, connecting China to Central Asia, the Middle East, and even Rome, facilitating a vibrant exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures. After the Han dynasty collapsed, China entered a period of division known as the Three Kingdoms, a dramatic era immortalized in literature and popular culture. It took centuries for China to be reunified, which was finally achieved by the Sui dynasty. The Sui, much like the Qin, were short-lived but made massive contributions, most notably the construction of the Grand Canal. This engineering marvel linked the Yellow River in the north with the Yangtze River in the south, boosting trade and unifying the economy of the empire. The Sui paved the way for another golden age, the Tang dynasty. The Tang era is often celebrated as the high point of Chinese civilization. Its capital, Chang'an, was the most populous city in the world, a cosmopolitan hub filled with merchants, monks, and envoys from across the globe. Art, poetry, and culture flourished. We see the invention of woodblock printing, which made literature more accessible, and the perfection of porcelain. The Tang was an open and confident empire, with Buddhism reaching its peak influence and cultural exchange thriving along the Silk Road. Following the Tang, the Song dynasty brought another surge of innovation. While militarily weaker than the Tang, the Song dynasty was an economic powerhouse. They developed the world's first paper money, established a permanent standing navy, and used gunpowder in warfare for the first time. Their scientific achievements were astounding. The polymath Shen Kuo described magnetic declination and the principles of the camera obscura. This was a time of refined culture, with landscape painting and philosophy reaching new heights, particularly with the rise of Neo-Confucianism. But this prosperity was threatened from the north. In the 13th century, the Mongol hordes, led by Genghis Khan and his successors, swept across Asia. His grandson, Kublai Khan, eventually conquered all of China and established the Yuan dynasty. For the first time, China was ruled by outsiders. The Mongols kept their own culture but also adopted Chinese administrative systems. It was during this time that the Venetian merchant Marco Polo visited China, and his accounts of the magnificent court of Kublai Khan and the wonders of the empire captivated Europe for centuries. The Chinese, however, never fully accepted foreign rule. A peasant rebellion eventually overthrew the Mongols and established the Ming dynasty. The Ming rulers sought to restore traditional Chinese values and erase the Mongol influence. They strengthened the Great Wall to its modern form, built the magnificent Forbidden City in Beijing, and sponsored epic maritime expeditions. Under the command of the Admiral Zheng He, massive treasure fleets sailed as far as the coast of Africa, showcasing China's naval power and technological prowess decades before European voyages of discovery. However, these expeditions were abruptly halted, and China gradually turned inward. The Ming dynasty eventually fell to another group from the north, the Manchus, who established the Qing dynasty, China's last imperial dynasty. The Qing presided over a vast and prosperous empire in its early years, doubling the territory of China. But by the 19th century, the Qing faced immense internal and external pressures. Corruption and rebellion weakened the state from within, while technologically superior Western powers arrived, demanding trade on their own terms. This led to the Opium Wars, a series of unequal treaties and a century of humiliation, as foreign powers carved out spheres of influence in China. The humiliation and internal decay led to widespread calls for reform and revolution. In 1912, the last emperor abdicated, and the Republic of China was founded by Sun Yat-sen, ending over 2,000 years of imperial rule. But the new republic was weak and fragmented, quickly falling into the hands of warlords. This period of turmoil saw the rise of two competing parties, the nationalists, led by Chiang Kai-shek, and the Communist Party, eventually led by Mao Zedong. The two sides fought a brutal civil war, which was briefly interrupted by the need to unite against the Japanese invasion during World War II. After the war, the Civil War resumed, and in 1949, the Communists emerged victorious, establishing the People's Republic of China on the mainland, while the nationalists retreated to Taiwan. Under Mao, China underwent radical transformations, including the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution, periods of immense social upheaval and tragedy. After Mao's death in 1976, Deng Xiaoping initiated a new era of reform and opening up. This policy introduced market principles into the economy, leading to decades of explosive economic growth that lifted hundreds of millions out of poverty and transformed China into the global economic superpower it is today. And that brings us to the present. From the oracle bones of the Shang to the skyscrapers of Shanghai, China's history is a breathtaking saga of continuity and change, of brilliant innovation and profound struggle. It's a story that continues to unfold and shape not only its own future, but the future of the entire world. Thanks so much for joining me on this whirlwind tour of Chinese history. If you enjoyed this journey, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you in the next video.